Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Welcome back to another session, and for today's Rainbow Unit Showcase, I wanted to cover a guy that really hasn't been talked about a whole lot. Of course, this is the one of the Piccolo units. In this case, it'll be the Super Intelligence, basically Universe 7 representative, categories specific, I guess. Piccolo, I mean, that's probably the best way to summarize it with all the various, Piccolo units that exist in the game, but they all have the same name essentially. It's kind of a way to indicate it a little bit better, but this guy is surprisingly pretty decent. Last time this guy was tested was on the, of course, Universe 7 category, but since that time, like last year at some point, this guy has, pretty decent skill sets overall to test that on a variety of categories for. So in this case, I wanted to test this unit out on the Master and Student Bond category. That also includes the Hybrid Saiyans secondary leader from the Future Gohan lead. So a little bit of a different team building option, and the good thing about this setup is you're able to bring in some pretty decent support units, especially the Intelligence Gohan unit, Kid Gohan, that did get the Dokkan Awakening and quite a bit of skill set improvements from that unit. So obviously pretty good unit overall, so definitely wanted to link that up whenever I could. For the most part, in this showcase, you are going to see the Piccolo unit linked up with the Vegeta, Tech Vegeta with the EZA, because of how good, the super attack ability to raise the allies' attack by 30% is. On top of that, you do have the passive skill where all allies get attack and defense increase of 30%. So overall, on top of that, you have link skills like Prodigies, and of course, Shattering the Limit is a key boost that both units share. So I think it just overall worked well in this particular showcase to just set that up in the rotation. Then you have a couple of units, floaters, in the third position slot, providing some extra support. So that's pretty much the format with this unit. In terms of the card itself, a couple of things, right? The nice thing about this unit is the super attack does greatly raise attack for one turn, but in my case, I ended up just focusing heavily on the critical hits versus additional attack. Now, certainly you could do that. You could go for higher levels toward additional attack to kind of exploit that greatly raised attack for one turn ability, but in this case, I just straight up went with the heavy focus on crits and just, level 6 with additional attack and level 5 for evasion. So that's pretty much the format there. In order to get this guy's passive activated, you do have to have HP 80% or below in order to get the attack and defense increase of 80%. So you do have to keep that in mind, and you'll see it throughout the showcase itself. You'll see instances where the passive is active, whereas it's not. So you'll be able to see what kind of difference. In a summary standpoint, you're probably looking at roughly about 700,000 attack stats without the passive active, and then once you do, it can range from 1 to 1.2 million attack stats overall, which is pretty good for this unit to be able to produce that. Of course, I do want to notate that there are situations a lot of times where it is a double support rotation, so he is getting a lot of help, as much help as possible in terms of like the team structure of this particular setup, but it's fine. This is more or less just to kind of highlight, see how he does in an ideal situation, so I didn't mind going with that approach for this one. In terms of links, I mean, it's okay, it's pretty decent. A lot of attack increasing links, which is pretty good, but not a whole lot of units have like the amount of links that this unit has in particular. So if we go through the list, of course this guy has Namekians, that's 5% HP recovery. Gaze of Respect is Ki +2. Brainiacs is attack and defense increase of 10%. Prodigies is attack increase of 10%. Experienced Fighters another 10% toward attack. First Awaken is 25% toward attack as well. And then Shattering the Limit is the other key boosting link skill this unit has. So of course, like I said, a lot of attack boosting links, but not a whole lot of units have like all the link sets that this Piccolo does. In terms of categories, it looks like 4 total. Namekians, representatives of Universe 7, worthy rivals, and Master and Student Bond categories. Worthy Rivals was definitely another interesting category that I thought about running, but the problem with that is you're not going to be able to get the best leader, because in that case it'll be the Dokkan Fest physical Piccolo unit. So of course you can't run 2 of the same Piccolo units on the same team. So that's really one of the problems with that. But however, you know, the Master and Student Bond category is pretty good as well. In terms of like the rainbow stats, you saw it earlier. I mean, 14,481 for HP, attack was 12,360, and defense is 10,220. So stats wise, definitely not bad. 12 Ki Multiplier is 135% too. So, you know, overall this is a pretty decent unit. I think, you know, really the main reason why this guy is pretty much forgotten, more so recently than ever, is because again the physical Piccolo is really damn good. I mean, it's bottom line the best Piccolo unit in the game, and up until that unit's release, I mean, the best other one was like the Easy A Agility Piccolo that you got from the story event or whatever, and that Piccolo is pretty good, but it's nowhere near as good as the Dokkan Fest version. So with that being said, this guy that you're seeing the showcase on is even more or less you know, a forgotten unit, and not a unit that people tend to run on any sort of event or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the one thing that does hurt this unit, I'll go ahead and say, is the HP restriction, that you have to have it below a certain percent in order to get the passive active, whereas a lot of times a lot of units have, you know, HP has to be above like 30% or above or something, a lot more easily attainable. You know, if you're running through tougher events, of course it's easy to get the HP levels lower quickly, but in a setting like Boss Rush, it can be a little bit difficult, and even if you're going on a tough event, the chances that you would end up using this unit is probably going to be pretty slim. There are far better units that exist in the game to where you wouldn't even consider including this guy. So, you know, with that being said, it's kind of this unit's honestly it's in limbo, I guess, to say the least. But you know, this is why my particular channel exists, I guess, because I love showcasing outdated units that are somewhat forgotten, and just bring them back to the limelight a little bit, and show them how they are on some of the more recent categories, or team builds with, you know, units that have been introduced to the game, or, you know, Dokkan Awakenings or Easy A's or whatever the case is. So again, the last time I tested this guy was definitely like at least a year ago on the Universe 7 category setup, and of course that team's pretty good, but you don't really have the variety and abundance of picking support units in that setup. So of course with this other category option, you know, I was able to build out some better, you know, better teams overall, and focus on links and, you know, overall team unity and harmony. So you know, it was long overdue basically to test this unit out on an updated setting, and of course Boss Rush 10 didn't exist at the time when it was first showcased, so a lot of new things have been added since then. So I figured the timing would definitely be pretty decent to test them out. And honestly, I like the card art pretty well. It's kind of nice. It reminds me of the Fist of the North Star, Kenshiro's what was it, Mutant, what was it, the fucking move. It's like, I think it was like Musou Tensei or something like that. I can't remember exactly the special skill that he had, but basically it's like, you know, replications of himself, you know, hiding his true identity or whatever. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but you know, it's similar to Kid Goku's skill that he learned. What was it? It was like Zankoken or something like that, where, you know, it's kind of like you have your replicants kind of thing. I can't remember the exact term or name of the skill itself, but it reminds me of that a little bit, which is pretty nice. But yeah, back to the you know, showcase itself. I mean, pretty decent unit. Chances are you're definitely not going to run this unit anytime soon at any point. Of course, the Easy A's are always a thing, so I mean, that's certainly a possibility, but I really don't feel like this guy will get one anytime soon. And if he does, great. If not, you've got the other Piccolo unit that's far miles and miles better, so why pick this guy when you have that other option? So with that being said, Hopefully enjoyed the showcase for this Piccolo unit. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.